What is happening, guys? Itchy Outdoors coming at you with a new knife from Spyderco. This is not going to be a full review. This is really just going to be an initial reaction after having this thing in my hand for a couple of hours so far today. This is the Ikuchi from Spyderco. As you can see, this is a brand new knife from Spyderco, just released or just about to be released. Sometimes we get it a few days early, being part of the Spyderco Collectors Club. This knife is a flipper design with a compression lock. You can see this has kind of one of the highlights of this knife, in my personal opinion, is this flipper here, which is kind of like a Bic lighter or whatever kind of lighter. So it is an end or corner flipper, almost like the smock, but it's rounded off in a wheel form. Not sure how well you can see that. And it's textured here, which makes the flipper pop open. It gives you a lot of movement on the flipper, so you can make sure that it fires all the way. This one has not been broken in yet. You'll see the blade does not completely fall shut on its own. It probably will at some point, just like most compression locks do. So some of the basics of this knife being brand new. This knife blade is about 3¼ inches long with a cutting edge that's 3.18 inches. Has a nice little sharpening choil, which not all Spydercos have, which I like. Again, it is the compression lock. It has that G10 carbon fiber overlay on a G10. I'm not sure exactly how they do it. It really feels more like a textured G10, but apparently it's carbon fiber. It has a deep carry wire pocket clip, which so many people adore. You have your nice little spider hole on your S30V blade. I may have already said that. It's kind of nice, you can see, and it's actually one of the things that I like about this blade is you can actually see the grind lines a little bit on that blade, so it's not full-blown tumbled, it's not fully polished. You have the ability to see some of those lines in there. I'm not sure how well you can see that in here, but you can see those grind lines going down here. Love that it has the spider hole, but it doesn't make it, you know, very intrusive. In fact, what we'll do right now is I want to even put this guy on the scale. Let's get this guy on a scale here. And this guy is roughly 2.4 ounces. They're claiming 2.1 ounces. I'm getting about 2.4 ounces. Either way, I can tell you, it feels closer to what they're calling it. It's 2.1 ounces. It might be the mat that I'm sitting this on, but very, very light in hand. It's just an extremely light knife. That was the first thing that struck me when I picked it up, was how light this guy is. Very well done. It's, you know, obviously it's coming from the Taichung factory, Taiwan, which you can see there maybe. Not sure, lighting's kind of messed up still, but it does come Taichung factory. Fits very slim. I put it in my pocket as I went and ran some errands a little bit ago. Fits in the pocket really well. You don't even know it's there. If we do a quick size comparison so you can see with this, we have the Spyderco Delica. This would be the super gold version from Mass Drop. I know people have started getting that one today. And then another knife I got today is the PM2. So you can see just from a size perspective, the blade actually is shorter than the PM2 blade, longer than the Delica, fits somewhere in between. It's more of a slim, probably gentleman's carry blade, I would say, when we look at this guy. This would be something that I probably will carry when I wear khakis for work. It's just kind of the nice, you know, the only thing I will say about it being a gentleman's carry is it's a pretty, you have to open it with the flipper. There's not really another way to flip it. And then, you know, it's a pretty long pointy blade. Even though it's not that long, it kind of looks long just because it's so narrow. That being said, I don't really care what people think. If it's legal and I'm allowed to do it, it doesn't mean I try to make people feel uncomfortable, but I try to be respectful at the same time. I like carrying knives. Now, so the good is really the weight, the shape, the fit and finish is awesome. The only thing that I'm finding so far on this knife that's frustrating, and we'll see if we can pull this in for you guys, is the compression lock. So compression lock itself works fine. You know, it's in there. In fact, I think lefties will probably like this compression lock better than a standard compression lock. But you'll see the cutout on the opposite side is relatively excuse me, is relatively small. In fact, when I go to try to, you know, I really have to get my tip in there with my nail in order to compress it. I'm sure I'll find other ways to make it a little more, but when it does, you know, a little more simple, but when it doesn't drop shut, it's kind of a frustrating way to have the tab. Just not that accessible. A lefty, I think, can do it very much like a liner lock. Right, is just with your thumb, it's easier to use as a liner lock. But you know, as a righty, Spyderco has kind of, I think, made it a little bit more difficult because you're using your pointer finger and you got to kind of dig in there. So it's a more, you know, compare that to a PM2 that has this nice big deep cutout here. You know, after you flick it open, when you want to close it, it just kind of, anywhere you go in there, you can flick it, you know, you can close it shut. With this guy, you really have to make a concerted effort to go and find and dig out that tab. That's my big complaint on this knife so far. Something I'm sure I'll get over. You only have to really worry about it when you're closing the knife or when you're fidgeting on the couch. I do like this flipper tab better than the smock. I think that it's a little bit easier on your finger. I think all of us that own a smock and, you know, tried to fidget with it for very long have what you'd call the smock finger. You know, where you get kind of that bruise on the tip of your finger from doing the corner of the smock. This guy does not have that problem. So anyway, that's about it for the Ikuchi, guys. You know, again, this is just a real quick video. I just wanted to give you my initial impressions. So far, it's pretty cool. I think this will definitely make its way into my carry because I do tend to carry the knives that are a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter. I love carrying the Bug Out from Benchmade. I like carrying some of my, I like the Falcon from Mastrop and Ferrum Forge. Those are just kind of nice smaller knives that aren't intrusive. PM2, I have to really be wearing the right clothing to be able to handle something this large, and I find myself avoiding the PM2 just because it gets in the way of me pulling my wallet out, something like that. I even like things like the Benchmade Proper where it just sits in the bottom of my pocket and I don't have to worry about a clip. So anyway, guys, that's the Ikuchi from Spyderco. I certainly do recommend it. I think, you know, once you get over that, you know, cutout for the compression lock, I think this makes a nice knife. It fits good in the hand. It's not what you would call like a super ergonomic knife, but I think it's small enough that it really doesn't have to be one that, you know, goes into every, you know, crevice of your hand. It's just overall a good knife. So hope you guys like it. Give it a try, check it out when it becomes available for everyone. Again, we're going to be doing some more things. I've got some cut tests planned after the next few weeks. We're going to be doing some cutting tests, edge tests, stuff like that. So stay tuned. And please, please keep your knives sharp. Appreciate it, guys. Bye.